Games like this are my favorite to talk about, not just because the Mariners grab a blowout victory, but I don't think there's one negative to discuss in this game today. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners defeat the Nationals tonight 9-1. They improved to 30-23 on the season, and they'll go for a series win tomorrow with George Kirby on the bump. As always, before I go any further, if you guys and gals could like the video, subscribe if you're new or lurking. We're about I'm not even sure, 230, 220 away from 5,000, so we're getting closer. And don't forget to comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. Yeah, I mean, the offense, fantastic. 9 runs on how many hits did they have today? They had, let's see, 9 runs on 12 hits. They worked 4 walks. The pitching was fantastic. I wish Logan Evans would have been able to finish that off and go 9 innings. Thought they should have let him do it, but I do understand just getting someone else out there for an inning. I mean, again, just nothing down or negative to discuss in this one. This was positives all across the board, and pretty much every hitter today contributed. So it wasn't just, I mean, there were some big time players. Cal steps up and Julio for sure. But it was an all across the board impressive win. And on ones like this, I don't know where to start. Do I start with Logan Evans and his 8 dominant innings of baseball? Do we talk about Cal Raleigh just casually hitting 2 home runs again today and up to 19 on the season? Do we talk about Julio having a great game? Dylan Moore was solid. Ben Williamson was really good. Even Solano reaches base twice. Not that I would be starting off the video with Solano here, but that's what's great about a game like this is you really, get everybody contributing. It just, those are the feel good wins and got to keep it going, right? Because the last 2 seasons against Washington, Mariners have lost both series. And 2 years ago in Seattle, they had won game 1. Then the Nats came back and won what was one of the most brutal games of 23 back-to-back brutal games in the Patrick Corbin game, in 2023 as well. So certainly a lot of baseball left to be played in this series, but a fantastic start and a nice little bounce back after that road trip finish in Houston, right? That was frustrating. It was a good road trip overall for the team, but it was just frustrating to see them finish in Houston losing 3 out of 4. You felt a little of that momentum going away. And again, I'll reiterate, something the team has done a pretty good job of this year is just not letting it spiral out of control where you can't bounce back from those series. They don't. They get the day off. Yes, they don't come out flat at home. They come out ready to go. They put up the 3 runs right away in the first inning and kind of make that early statement there. So that was impressive to see. Not much else to say. Really not. I don't really have like a major, deeper meaning for this one today. Just a good win. A Nationals team that I do think is, maybe better than people think, but definitely a team the Mariners should be able to win a couple games against. Some good news, Logan Gilbert begins a rehab assignment on Thursday. 2 starts maybe, I would think, for Logan. I mean, we should be seeing him back maybe mid-June. Luke Raley in early June is going to be starting the first week of June. Will be starting his rehab assignment. That is fantastic news. I mean, Logan's huge too, but I think we knew Logan was coming up here soon on a rehab assignment. I kind of thought Luke Raley we might not see until All-Star break, mid to late July. So if he's starting one June 3rd, maybe mid-June as well for Luke Raley, that is huge. We've talked about this lineup kind of needing a bridge to the bottom. It's kind of been your big thumpers, and then, this gives you with Luke Raley someone to kind of hold it down as you get into that bottom of the order and help turn the lineup over. So great news there. Sounds like Bryce Miller will be activated on this homestand. Justin Hollander did mention they will not be going with a 6-man rotation. I would think Logan Evans probably the odd man out, and that's a shame because Logan Evans is really throwing the ball well. But so is Emerson Hancock, and Hancock being a little bit more of the veteran. It wouldn't shock me if they stick with Hancock there as their 5th starter. And then when Logan Gilbert comes back, good problem to have, right? Logan Evans is throwing the ball well, but will probably go back to Tacoma and be able to fine-tune a few things. And who knows, Bryce Miller may not come back at his best, so you may need Logan Evans again very quickly. And then, like I said, I imagine when Logan Gilbert is back, Emerson Hancock will go back down as well. And then you have some good depth pieces that you trust as you get into the summer here, as it gets hotter and everything like that. You need a couple extra arms. So The Mariners should be happy that they have that kind of depth. And at least now, while it would be a huge, huge boost to get 2024, even 2023 Bryce Miller, in here, it's not something that is necessarily like, oh my gosh, you have to have it, because you should feel confident enough in Hancock and Evans that they can, at least hold it down and be solid back end guys for you if needed. So some really, on top of a great win, some great news on the injury front for the Seattle Mariners. So let's go ahead and dive into the box score. Logan Evans, 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Only threw 88 pitches. Yeah, I was looking at Parker's line. 88 pitches, 65 strikes for Evans. Fantastic outing. I mean, he was at 65 pitches through 7 innings, something like that, 68 pitches through 7. Just incredible outing from Logan Evans, pounding the strike zone, and a decent Nationals lineup, right? If we go up and down here, C.J. Abrams is a good player. James Wood, I always want to say James Woods. James Wood is fantastic. Nathaniel Lowe hasn't quite been that great this year. He's scuffling a little bit, but he's still, been a good hitter in his career. Kyber Ruiz is a good player. As you go down, it gets a little weaker, at the bottom there, 5 through 9 for sure. But there are some players in that Nationals lineup. So, just an absolutely impressive outing from Logan Evans. And it's easy to forget, this is a rookie. I mean, this is his, 5th or 6th professional start. And he's able to go 8 innings and give up 4 hits, just 1 run, is incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. I mean, there are teams that would absolutely die to have guys like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock right now that can slide in the rotation. And, I don't know, but as you get to the trade deadline, maybe those are guys you could but add in a trade as major league ready pitching. So if you want to make a deal with a team like Baltimore for a hitter that, might be selling and they need pitching, maybe Hancock or Logan Evans could help get a trade over the top for you. For sure. But a fantastic outing from Evans. I would have let him go 9 at 88 pitches there for sure. But I do certainly understand it's not like having Bizardo pitch 1 inning is going to hurt your bullpen for the rest of the series at all. So while I would have let Evans do it in a 9-1 game, I do understand too, the rookie pitcher, goes out there, you let him end on a high note, right? He ran into a little bit of trouble in that 8th inning. First 2 got out of it. You send him out for the 9th and a few batters reach. The game's not in jeopardy, but you want Evans to leave with a good taste in his mouth. Not that I think he would have been disappointed if a couple guys reached there in the 9th inning and it wouldn't have, tainted the start in any way. But I think you just want him to leave with a good bit of confidence. Edward Bizardo throws an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. Nice. Don't let him claw back into it. Not that at 9-1 I was too worried, but we've seen a couple times in games, especially on the road trip, where the other team kind of started to claw back into it. Not claw back into it, but get a couple runners on in the 9th inning, and then you got to get Munoz up, and even if he doesn't pitch, still had to throw pitches in that bullpen. So good to see that the team was able to avoid that. It would have taken a lot to get Munoz up in that 9th inning, but still. Let's move into the lineup. 12 hits. 8 runs, 4 walks, only 8 strikeouts. Mitchell Parker, the starting pitcher for the Nationals, had only given up 2 home runs all season, and the Mariners did that in the first inning against him. And then did Cal hit his 2nd home run off Parker as well? Yeah, Cal hit both of his home runs off Parker. So, the Mariners hit more home runs off Parker tonight than he had given up all season. So that was really good to see. That was more of the April offense, right? The consistent base runners, the good at-bats, the drawn-out walks, and in a good way drawn out, base hits getting in there, and then your big thumpers putting the ball over the fence. That was a very April Seattle Mariners offensive performance today for sure. J.P. Crawford, 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks. Solid day for J.P. The motto on this channel, J.P. just quietly on base 3 times. Julio, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. He belts his 10th home run of the year in the first inning off of Parker. Had another solid line drive base hit. I forgot to do the scoring recap. Well, let's do that real quick. Let's do the scoring recap. Boy, oh boy, sorry about that. All right, scoring recap, then we'll get into the offense. Boy, I'm struggling a little bit here. All right, bottom of the first, Julio Rodriguez homers on a fly ball to left center field. That scored J.P. Crawford, made it 2-0 Mariners. Also in the bottom of the first, Cal Raleigh homered on a fly ball to left field. That made it 3-0 Mariners. Top of the fourth, James Wood homered on a fly ball to center field. That made it 3-1 Mariners. Bottom of the fifth, Cal Raleigh. And by the way, that home run by Wood was absolutely crushed to dead center field. Bottom of the fifth, Cal Raleigh homers on a fly ball to left field, his 19th, making it 4-1. Bottom of the sixth, Ben Williamson reached on a fielder's choice that scored Dylan Moore. That made it 5-1 Mariners. J.P. Crawford grounded out to C.J. Abrams that scored Donovan Solano to make it 6-1 Mariners. Julio Rodriguez singled on a fly ball to right field. That was the one that kind of went off Garcia's glove. A little bit of a blooper, a little bit of a bloop job. We'll take it. Scored Ben Williamson to make it 7-1. And the bottom of the eighth, Randy Arozarena grounded into a force out. And then 2 runs scored on the error. Ben Williamson and J.P. Crawford is a throwing error on Luis Garcia. Randy does get at least 1 RBI there for that. So talk about J.P., talk about a fantastic game from Julio. Yeah, the one was a little bit of a bloop, but, when you're hitting a home run and hitting a solid line drive hit, as well in a game like that, it's okay. It's something that you don't, get frustrated when those bloops are falling. That's all you get. You go, okay, like those aren't going to keep falling in. But when you get the other hits, it's a little bit more like, and on top of the cherry on top is you get the bloop to fall in. So nice game from Julio. Cal 2 for 5 with 2 home runs, 19. I will continue to pound the Cal Raleigh MVP table. Had a couple chance for that 3rd home run. He had the bases loaded, nobody out there in the 8th. I was really hoping he would open it up. Well, the game was already opened up, but hit another one there. You could tell he was swinging for that 3rd home run. Don't blame him. Especially in a game that's 7-1, stuff like that. When you've got 2 home runs, it is absolutely fair for the hitter to try to get that 3rd one. I don't blame him at all. So great game for Cal. Randy was 0 for 3 with an RBI ground out. Did walk and was hit by a pitch, so Randy does reach base twice. I think Mitch Garver, who was 0 for 5, was really the only player today that didn't have a contribution. I will say his first at-bat hit a line drive at 98 miles per hour with like an 850 expected batting average that Abrams caught. So, Garver wasn't far off from getting a hit there, but really the only guy that didn't contribute today. Dylan Moore was 3 for 4 with a double. Donovan Solano was 1 for 3 with a walk. Solano has been better the last few weeks. He's been more the player that you did trade for. Had the RBI single on Sunday. Had a couple hits on Saturday, including one against Josh Hader. I would go back to that Yankees series. We talked about a couple of the good at-bats. In fact, over the last 2 weeks, his WRC plus is like 118, 120, something in that range. Solano's not going to be a guy. He doesn't hit a lot of home runs, and Goldsmith talked about that in the broadcast. So it's not someone that's just going to raise their numbers overnight by hitting, 2 home runs today, then 1 tomorrow, and having a 4 home run series. But Solano has been better. It's still been rough. But you are starting to get a little bit of the guy that you traded for this offseason. Leody Taveras also didn't really contribute 0 for 4. He did have a fly ball in the second inning, hit at 101 that was hit pretty well to center. I thought he had some real nice plays in right field tonight. It looked a lot smoother than he looked on the road trip. So he's starting to get used maybe to playing right field in T-Mobile. Made some nice defensive plays. And then a solid game for Ben Williamson. He was 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. And an RBI. Good to see Williamson starting to check back in a little bit. Obviously, he's cooled off, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can kind of get those base hits like he had today, it'll go a long, long way for you. I really don't have much else to add. The video's kind of short today. Just a fantastic win for the Mariners. Hopefully keep it going. It certainly does not erase the sourness of the Houston series, but at least gets you back on track a little bit and gets the vibes feeling pretty good. You get good injury news today all around. Like I said, you should see Bryce Miller in the series. George Kirby will make his 2nd start of the season tomorrow, so you feel pretty good that should get a better outing from Kirby in his 2nd go-around. I didn't even think Kirby looked that bad in Houston. Little rusty, and then just allowed some 2-out hits and some hit-by pitches to kind of unravel that outing a little bit. But I'm excited to see Kirby at home tomorrow for his 2nd start of the season. So looking forward to that. Then maybe Bryce Miller on Thursday to finish it off. So we'll see. It's starting to come together a little bit on the injury front, and good to see the team get a win. That's all I've got. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.